It's looking good, right, Jesse? Not bad. Just wait for Cole to get on, and then we'll get going. Thank you. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Good, you?
I'm doing great, man.
How you been?
I've been great. Just chilling.
Keeping busy working out at home?
Oh, yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've been trying my best, right?
Good.
It's been nice because at least parks are open now, so I've been able to go there and train with the trainer, which is always nice, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Just gotta stay busy.
I want to, so quickly before we start, I just want you, actually, Justin's just giving you a compliment on your hair there, which means I think he's trying to tell you to get a haircut.
Yeah,
Um,
you know.
But the first thing I want to start off with before I get into your introduction stuff, maybe just for the younger athletes at home, you can just maybe let them know what you're doing at home to stay in shape for going to Queens next year and just for to be volleyball ready and stuff.
So currently, I am on the Queen's team training program because I'm committed to Queen's University for next year, obviously. So, I'm just doing what the trainers are telling me to do, just staying consistent. I think that's a big consistency, especially in this weird time when some gyms you may not have access to go work out with a place you normally do. But yeah, basically staying consistent here at home because I got a bit of a setup, so I'm doing on that, I guess.
For sure. And just for people to know, how much have you been able to increase your spike touch since kind of quarantine started?
I think about 2.5, 3 inches or so. That's just approximate though. I haven't tested in a few weeks, but I've been staying consistent on that end. So yeah, I think definitely I'm going to see even more improvements than that.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'll get right into your introduction. So for everyone that doesn't know, this is Cole Duncanson. Cole actually started playing volleyball a little late. He started playing when he was 16U.
Yeah.
That first season, he ended up making the Team Ontario Red team. From there, played 17U. Again, had a very good year and made the Team Ontario Black team. And then this past season, made the move to Packman and was able to play with me actually, where we were able to have a semi-successful season. Could have been better. And then actually a couple weeks ago, you were named to the junior national team. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
But maybe let's start off with let's talk about the junior national team stuff. What are you guys doing right now in terms of training and stuff?
So right now we've had a few opportunities to meet with some high level strength training coaches. We actually had the amazing privilege of talking with Dan Lewis and Glenn Hogue. So I mean, for those of you who don't know, Glenn Hogue, the head coach of the senior men's Olympic squad, and Dan Lewis, now one of the assistant coaches who is a former player. So it's been a really enriching experience. We got to talk with the head strength trainer for the senior men's squad and the head nutritionist. So yeah, I've been soaking every bit of information that I can, trying to add that to my repertoire. I guess it's been a really amazing experience so far, and I can't wait to see what comes of it.
Yeah, for sure. And when they announced the squad, right? Two of your teammates next year, Eric and Dax, right, are both on the team as well.
Yeah.
Does that maybe have you look forward to also being able to play with them for the national team, but as well as like at university as well?
Oh, definitely. I don't really know them that well as of yet, but from what I've seen, I've met them, already. Two great guys, from what I can tell. Two very dedicated athletes. They, I guess, are both like as committed to the game as I am, and vice versa. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with them both on the junior national team and at the university level as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then getting into kind of how you started playing. So you picked up the sport pretty late, right? Most guys tend to pick up the sport right at 13U, 14U.
Yeah.
How'd you get introduced to the sport?
So I did start playing like high school ball because I started in grade 9 at high school because, I go to Eden High School. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a volleyball powerhouse, I would say, in the province. So I was fortunate enough that the head coach of the junior team, the junior boys team, was also the founder of Rapids Volleyball Club. So she got me introduced from that end. And then, I kind of fell in love with it over my grade 9. So then when grade 9 rolled around, I decided to try out for the new club team, boys team, and I was lucky enough to make it. And from there, it happened.
And when you first started, right, you got put right into the middle because you weren't as tall as you are now, right? But you were still taller. You were about 6'4" or so, right?
Yeah, I would say about that height. Yeah, for sure.
Around that, and just given being a middle, right, there's a lot of movement. You got to understand the game really well. Was that a kind of like a quick kind of awakening when you got to your first kind of club practice or club tournament?
Yeah, for sure. Getting used to the lateral agility that's required to play an effective middle. It definitely takes some getting used to. Even to this day, there's a few aspects of middle that are still quite challenging to me, and I'm sure they're quite to every other athlete that plays it, even at the highest level, because it's such a complicated position. It relies so heavily on lateral agility, which is an athletic attribute that's really hard to develop. But I think it's definitely, helped me develop better as an athlete.
Yeah, for sure. And then that summer, you were able to make Team O Red.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like, just to be able to make the provincial team that first year you started playing?
Man, I remember when I was informed that I made it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I could barely hold in my excitement. It was a really great experience. Like, especially for somebody who had just picked up the sport. And like, I already loved the sport. Like, just the atmosphere from my first provincials that year, my nationals. I was really excited. I was stoked for sure.
And that summer, you guys, we all went to BC, right, to play the Canada Cup.
Yeah.
You guys played nationals that year as well, but just to kind of get introduced to other kind of players from other provinces for our age group, what was that like for you?
Sorry, can you just repeat that? I didn't quite catch that one.
Yeah, it was like, so that was kind of our first time really seeing like the best talent, right, for our age group around the country. What was that like for you to kind of see that your first year playing volleyball?
Oh man, I do remember it like really well actually. Seeing some of those guys from BC, I finally like fully understood like that this sport is like a national favorite. Like there's a lot of really good players out there. If I'm gonna be among them, I have to fully commit and work my hardest. So I think it was definitely a great experience for that for sure.
For sure. And then moving on to 17U, one thing a lot of people don't know, but from 16U to 17U, right, that summer and even throughout that year, you grew a lot.
Yeah, I grew a good two or three. Yeah, about that.
Like you shot up for sure. And was there anything kind of during that growth spurt that maybe had like a little bit of coordination issues, anything there?
I would say my big, like I'm just rewatching some videos from my 16U days. I would say like more of the coordination issues were like when I first started. Yeah, definitely in 17U was a little bit of getting used to like growing my body, but I would say more of the coordination and movement issues were in 16U. Like I had a couple of injuries resulted from poor coordination, just some ankle injuries. But other than that, yeah. But yeah, I would definitely say there was some getting used to it on that end.
Right. And then that 17U year, what place did you guys come in at provincial 17U? You guys lost in the quarters because you guys had a tough draw.
Yeah, we played Mavs in the quarters, which, was they're a really good team. So we didn't end up beating them. But yeah, I think we came like 5th or 6th, if I recall.
Yeah. And that summer again, right, you were able to play for the provincial team, right? And you played with Timo Black. What was that experience like going down to Florida and stuff?
Once again, playing with the best players in the province and competing with them in practice, getting pushed to get better. I think it definitely helped me both as an athlete and individual because, the camaraderie you develop with those guys and then have side to side and play with them really aids, I think, in your development as a competitor for sure.
Right. And now I want to talk about this year just fully in depth, right? Just break it down completely from kind of start of the season, right, all the way down to where we kind of finished off. Walking into tryouts, seeing everyone that was there, what did that feel like?
Well, going back to the whole Timo Black thing, like I'd already played with guys like David and Braden. So, I already knew a few people. I knew you decently well at that point. Obviously,
yeah, and you played with obviously Connor and Vincent right at Niagara.
So all these guys, yeah. Walking into the tryouts, I think the reason that like I really like stood out to me is because, you know, guys like Shawan, you know, guys like Petrozinski brothers, just seeing how good they are and like, and you know, the way they, how seriously they took the game, it kind of spoke to me. I'm like, well, if they're taking it this seriously, they must have like a foundation that they've like gotten Pac-Man that, you know, has really allowed them to be such high level volleyball athletes. So, you know, it really stood out to me, and I think that's why I decided to go and make the transition over to Pac-Man, because you know, the culture that I see, it seems like everybody plays for each other. You know, they're just there to win and there to support each other. So that's what really stood out to me for sure.
And there's one kind of, I think a lot of people have like a certain stigma, right, of the club. It's kind of like, oh, like they're kind of like they're cocky and stuff. Sometimes I think that comes across. Did your perspective maybe change on the club at all once you started playing for the club?
Honestly, I never really got that impression. Like, I'd heard some people say some things like that, but from what I gathered, it was just like, from what I just used like an objective observation. From what I saw, that there was just guys who wanted to compete and wanted to be the best. So
yeah,
when I got there, that just was reinforced for me. Like, you know, because we had amazing coaches like Jesse and Dave, who, you know, they were there to win and they support us. So I think that all it was is I just saw a group of guys who really wanted to win, and I wanted to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, and just talking about Jesse and Dave, they've come up a lot just because I've talked to a lot of the former athletes right on here.
Yeah.
How was your experience with them? Like, how did you feel?
Yeah, they were both amazing coaches. Two of the best coaches I've ever had, I would say. You know, Jesse, really down-to-earth guy, just knows his stuff, has high expectations and expects you to achieve them, which, you know, and he holds you to a high standard. And the thing about both Jesse and Dave is that, you know, some coaches can get on you and get mad at you, and they can do the same thing, but based on just them, you know that they actually care and they just want what's best for you. So, you know, also with Dave, you know, sometimes he can be a bit of a, you know, he gets a little angry sometimes, but I know it's just because he has your best interest in heart and he just wants you to be the best. So, yeah, two amazing coaches, like both with like years and years of experience that I think is very valuable for sure.
Yeah, and just on the topic of the two of them, maybe you can give me one thing that Jesse taught you that's probably going to resonate with you for the rest of your volleyball career, and maybe one thing that Dave taught you.
I think what Jesse taught me that's going to resonate with me for the rest of my career is just, you know, kind of like a sense of urgency and like an ingrained, not necessarily the drive to win, but just not wanting to lose more than the other team wants to beat you, if that makes sense. I think you definitely remember that. Yeah.
For sure.
And, you know, what stood out to me for Dave, you know, there's so many different things I would say. Like, I couldn't honestly tell you one specific thing that would resonate with me, because he taught me so many amazing things, you know, just always hitting the floor. That he just reinforced like hustling and just your hardest and never giving up, which I think is just the one like key takeaway that I'm going to take from him for sure.
For sure. And one thing I noticed kind of within, I'd say about the first 2 weeks of practice, right, was you come to practice and you're always the hard work. You make it a point to be the hardest working guy in the gym, right? And that's one thing I really admired as a teammate of yours, just because at the end of the day, if I look over and I see you working pretty hard, like, I mean, it's going to push me, right, to go hard as well. Where does that come from? What pushes you? What kind of makes you want to be better every day?
You know, I've actually been thinking about that a little bit lately, like what drives me. And I think what it is that if I'm not working my hardest, then I feel like I'm wasting my time, if that makes sense. Like, I love the sport of volleyball. Like, it's my passion. I sleep and breathe it. So I feel like if I'm not there to give it my all and get everything out of practice that I can, then I'm wasting my time. So I just work my hardest and, you know, just keep grinding. That's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, and the one thing I felt compared to all the other teams I had played on, and I had played on a lot of teams that were kind of well knitted and bonded. Our team was really close, right, going into that first tournament, and I think a lot of that plays with just Jesse and Dave, right? We were able to kind of more practice, sit and joke around after practice when we're stretching, joke around. Was that something maybe new to you in terms of just having like that like bond on and off the court?
Yeah, like for sure. You know, I definitely felt like when they were joking, when everybody was joking with each other, you could tell it was with zero malintention. It was always just like lighthearted, good-natured joking. And I really felt like safe. And even when people were like, poking fun at me a little bit, I still knew it was like they had my best interest in heart. They didn't have any towards me. So yeah, it was really awesome to be able to have that dynamic, like be like close knit like that as a team for sure.
For sure. And do you think having guys like Connor and Vincent, right, who came over with you, right, as well, do you think that maybe helped you kind of feel maybe a little bit more comfortable, like that first kind of couple weeks at practice?
Yeah, because like guys like especially like me and Vincent, I felt like we were pretty close on Rapids. So, and me and Connor too, like we knew each other well, right? So, I felt like it definitely helped me transition from my old team to the team, and it did help that I already knew you. So, yeah, I didn't feel like there was much of a rough transition at all. I felt pretty smooth, honestly.
Yeah, and I guess walking into the gym to the first tournament, right? Given the players we had and stuff, before we even played our first game, what was maybe going through your mind? How were you feeling?
Oh man, I was amped, honestly. Like I wasn't even nervous. Like a little bit. Actually, you know what? I was a little nervous because new team, new season. Just a little bit of adrenaline or whatever. But I was just excited more than anything to get on the court and play with these amazing new guys that I had met. I was just ready to play volleyball basically.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was evident too, right? That first game we kind of got on like.
Oh yeah.
We didn't execute everything we needed to, right? Or that Jesse and Dave expected us to, but like it didn't really look like that. It didn't look like we were a team for only 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely looked like I remember even what Dave and Jesse were saying. Like it kind of surprised me. I'm like, wow, we've only been playing together for like a month at that point, or a month and a half, and we'd already looked like we had been together for years. Just how smooth everything was running.
Yeah, and I want to fast forward through that tournament. After the semifinal game, right? We played a really good game against Storm there in the semis.
For sure.
How did that feel? Just because I know a lot, like when you guys were at the Rapids, right? You guys would go back and forth with them.
Yeah. It felt amazing, like a sense of camaraderie with the guys. We were able to band together and just them because they're a really good team. Like I got playing Evan Ledo, Cam Chadwick, Jacob Walker, like all amazing. Nolan Shapcott, all amazing players, but I think that we played really well as a team, and we happened to best them. And I was really appreciative that our group of guys could go out there and just play well as a team and execute. So yeah, it was
for sure. And going into the finals, right? I guess like because we hadn't really beaten Reach, right? The season before in 17, our team hadn't.
I don't think we beat them either, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't think we did either.
So just given, right, we had 3 guys from the Rapids and then quite a few guys from last year's team, right?
Yeah.
I think there was a sense of urgency, right? Like we really wanted to beat them, right? And sure. we played a really good first set. I think we beat them 25-8 or something.
Yeah. We were just on fire, basically, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I guess like that third set, second set we didn't play bad, but we definitely could have played better. And that third set, I think we did play poorly. I think as a team, right, there was definitely a lot of things we could have done in every aspect. How did you feel after that finals?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little ticked off that we couldn't execute, but then I realized that our first tournament together, like that Reach team playing together, a lot of those guys have been together for years already. Yeah. So they were already closely knit as a group, and they fully trusted each other. Not to say that we didn't, but I think that able to execute in high pressure situations, especially with them being down, that comes from just team chemistry and experience. So I feel like that's all it was. Had we been together for longer and we knew like fully how to interact, play together when it came to crunch time, I think we the best. But,
yeah, for sure. And kind of going on to that next week of practice, because I remember that week after, right, after the tournament, like we had a really solid week of practice.
Oh yeah,
I think like, everyone was pretty pissed off, right, that we weren't able to win and stuff. But that week of practice was really good.
For sure.
And then moving along, right, again, we continued to develop, right, throughout practice and stuff. Just going to that second tournament, right, we were ranked second, right? I think the first term we were ranked first. We were ranked, I think, 5th or something going in.
First tournament we were 5th or 6th.
We were 5th or 6th, yeah. And then going into that second tournament, right, a little bit of a better ranking, a better idea of kind of what the teams look like and what kind of style they're playing. I think that second tournament was in Coburg, was it?
Yes, I believe so.
I think so. So how did it feel to kind of walk in the gym knowing, yeah, because that's when we had everyone injured, right? We had Connor out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So walking into the gym, right, having a short-handed team, how did that feel? How did it, did it maybe have like a little mental block for you at the start maybe of the day?
Honestly, I think I remember the practice before the tournament. I was actually kind of like more excited because I knew teams, like I kind of expected teams to kind of sleep on us because everybody, in the OVA, everybody kind of knows everybody, especially today. So everybody kind of knew, like Liam wasn't feeling great. I think Harjas was he out or was he still away? I can't remember.
He was away, I think.
Okay, so yeah, point is we didn't have all our pieces. Not everybody was 100%, but I was kind of excited because I'm like, okay, teams are gonna like kind of look at us and think, well, this team isn't 100%, so we can kind of let our foot off the gas. And I thought, we're gonna have an advantage at that. And I was a little annoyed that we didn't have all our pieces, but at the end of the day, what can you do? So yeah, I was actually kind of excited, but honestly.
Right, and I think the one thing I really appreciated going to that tournament was just Jesse and Dave like continuing to reinforce that even though we don't have a lot of people, like no other team cares, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We shouldn't feel sorry for ourselves, and I think that took us a long way in that tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
And then actually that tournament, because we only had 2 left sets, right? We had Matt Tint and Brayden.
Yeah.
The one thing I think I found really cool is like Matt was really able to step up that tournament.
Oh yeah, he played amazing. Like I think that's kind of when that's when he started to develop a little bit more confidence. You could see it throughout the season. Matt got more and more confident. I think it was showing on the court because, that guy he can fly.
Yeah.
He gets up, and I think he started to realize that, that he can have some confidence up there. And I think that tournament really solidified that for him. For sure.
Yeah, no, sure. And then I guess, yeah, we can just fast forward straight to the finals of that tournament. Actually, no, sorry. I think we're talking about the third tournament because the second tournament we played Ottawa in the finals. So we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that one after. But that third tournament, right? We had already beaten Storm, I think, 3 times that season, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We see them in the finals. And again, right, a pretty solid first set, but again, second and third sets weren't too hot. Again, where do you think the block was there?
I don't want to use this as an excuse, but if I'm being completely honest, I thought it was just fatigue because some of our guys were running hard all day. All the guys were running hard all day. I think Liam was sick still.
He had the flu or something.
Yeah, he was playing with an illness. So I'm not using that as an excuse. Obviously, never an excuse, but I genuinely feel like if we were 100%, we would have. What can you do?
Yeah. And then, we'll go back to that second tournament because I don't know. That one always skips my mind, the one in Niagara.
Yeah.
But just, again, right, I believe because you had played at the Sport and Social Club a couple of times, yeah?
Yeah, I practiced there times, yeah. So I kind of had a familiarity with it a little bit.
Yeah. And, again, right, we had, our semifinals against Forest City that tournament. Really good. We played.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we played really solid ball for sure.
Yeah, we played lights out, and I believe we were able to get everyone in too, right? Everyone was able to get in that game.
Yeah.
And funny story from that game was Kevin forgetting his jersey, right? You brought.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that was funny. But again, right? You guys lost to the Mavs on the Rapids, right, the year before.
Yeah.
And we played them in the finals. This year, right? And obviously we have a history of playing them in provincial finals, right? And just tournament finals a lot. How did it feel to kind of maybe be on our team, given that we had played them so many times before?
Mavericks always consistently they take the game really seriously, and it shows. They're an amazing team. I have nothing but guys, having played with a lot of them on Team Ontario. It felt good to be rocking with a different squad this year, when we were playing them, because I felt like we had a really solid team. We had a lot of size, so I felt like we have a really good shot at beating them. I think a little disappointing once again to them, but at the end of the day, nothing that you can't change that. So yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing I found crazy about that finals was we literally went back and forth. Like the first set, I think we got up to 22 all just going back and forth. I don't think any team scored like consecutive points.
Yeah, it was just side out volleyball. There was no big run for sure.
Yeah, and actually, I remember that tournament. Remember, I had just gotten, I had just finished getting surgery. Remember?
Yeah, from your little act practice there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But moving forward to St. Louis, and this is a tournament that Jesse and David have been talking about from the start of the year, right? Saying that we were all going to get really close then, and like we definitely did. But going into the tournament, what were some expectations that you maybe had for the team?
I expected us to like play well, which we did for the most part, I thought. But I knew that, like, I know the Americans, they start playing really young, so I wasn't expecting to run. Like they might not have had the like more physical specimens than any more guys that could like outplay us just from an athleticism perspective, but their fundamental like ball control and everything was like almost perfect just because they've been playing so much longer than we like average Canadian. Because I think they start like
they started like 12, 10, like 10, like 10, 9 years old or something.
Yeah, even younger than we do. Like, yeah, for sure.
And that trip brought us a lot closer, right? Just because team dinners, right, is one thing. Traveling on an airplane again, right? Always a big thing. But Dave being in the pinball room, and I think Jesse's still in here, so maybe Jesse can talk a little bit in the comments just about Dave in the pinball room. But man, he took that serious, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was big, and some of the videos. I think Davis took a couple of videos of him playing, and those are like they're quality videos for sure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when we got back from that trip, right, we didn't really like we played pretty good, but we didn't play as well as we probably could have played.
Yeah, but
also ultimately we came back from that, right, and we were able to like we were really good, right?
We
started playing really good at practice afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, where do you think the little shift was there from that trip?
If I had to put my finger on it, I would just say, from like team chemistry, because I don't think before that we'd really, spent that much time together as a team. Like, we went out to like team dinner like every single night in St. Louis, except for that last one. So, I think that definitely played a huge part in it. So I think that's where the shift came from. We went from, more individual, like oriented on the court to like, playing more as a team. That's what I personally felt occurred.
And just moving on to that last tournament, right before things kind of all got canceled just because of COVID. We're at Brock, right? We're playing Grand Prix qualifier, and we actually lose. We lose our first set of the tournament, right, to Sky.
Sky, yeah.
And I think that was frustrating for all of us, right? Because I think that was a game that or a set, right? Because we ended up splitting sets, but that was a set I think we could have won.
Sure, yeah. I think that because like teams like Sky, they had seen, how good we were throughout the year, and they were expecting to a lot of resistance, so they came in blazing, and I don't think we really matched that first set. We were able to pick it up in the second set, but. Yeah, I think, that kind of just caught us off guard. That's all.
And skipping to the semifinals, which is probably my favorite game of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That semifinals was awesome, right, against Reach. I think there was a rally there where I think we had about like 4 blocks in a row.
Oh yeah.
You were in the front row there. What was maybe your mindset through that?
I think sort of just the ideal mindset, especially as a middle, is just to focus on nothing but the game, just like the way the setter's moving, watching their hands. And I feel like I was just like we as blockers were just in the zone, and I was fortunate enough to have amazing blockers who were setting the blocks like really well. So credit goes to them, honestly, because you can't do it without them. So,
yeah, they were doing it.
We were just in sync, honestly. That's what it was.
Yeah, and then again the finals, right? We got our 4th straight silver medal, right? Which obviously isn't ideal.
Yeah.
But again, right? Even after that tournament, we were still ranked first going into Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But that finals, I think we lost 2 straight. That was the first finals we had actually lost 2 straight rather than pushing a team to 3.
Yeah.
What do you think happened there? What went wrong?
Honestly, I think that same with same with the Sky game earlier in that tournament. I think that they knew that Storm as a team knew to expect like heavy, that we bring everything we had, so they brought everything they had. And I think because we had sort of a high from, really playing really well against Reach in the final, I think we kind of, this is our day. We have it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the atmosphere vibe that I kind of got from it. But yeah, I feel like it was just like sort of like a lapse in focus a little bit maybe. And by the time I felt like at the end we started putting up a good fight, but by that a little bit too late. But
yeah, it was a little too late because we started to kind of put some pressure on there towards the end of the second set.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I want to talk a little bit about practice, right?
Yeah.
After those, right? Because that was 4 straight silver medals. I said a lot, right, throughout this conversation that we started to play good after all these tournaments, but like everything was looking really good. I think after that 4th tournament, like I can say with confidence, Jesse and Dave did a great job helping us kind of peak at the right time, and you could tell we were slowly getting there.
Yeah, I feel like had the season not got canceled, I feel like just from the way things were going, the way we were clicking, the way everything was falling into place, I felt honestly we would have won Grand Prix and we would have won provincial, and, had a really good chance of making a run for that national gold.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been asking this question a lot just with other guys. So Jesse won nationals right in 2008 with his team. And then the first national 18 boys national championship since then was Jesse's 2018 team.
Yeah.
And I had Cole, Xander, and Trent on, and Trent made an argument for the 2019 team and why they're the greatest 18U team of all time. Yeah. Although we didn't get a chance to compete in nationals and compete at provincials, right, and be able to obviously make a run, right, to win both of those. Maybe you can try. I'm not sure if you had a chance, if you've ever watched the 2018 team or the 2019 team, or and I doubt you know a lot of the guys on Jesse's 18U team, but maybe you can give me a little bit of a reasoning as to why we should be in that conversation with those teams.
I felt like what Jesse was emphasizing, I felt like where our strength lied is in our depth. Like we didn't just have like one strong lineup that could go out there and get it done. We have 12, 13 guys that can go up there and play really well regardless of the day, or just always ready to play really well. So I understand where those guys are coming from, like the 2018 team. The Ketrusinski brothers, they're very gifted volleyball players for sure. But I think that our consistency, our strength really lied in our depth for sure. So that's why I think we can make a case is just in our depth alone. Yeah, for sure. That's where it came from.
And I'm not going to make any comments and stuff because I'm in a conflicted position. But one thing I will add as well is when our team was hot, like we were good, right?
Sure, for sure.
Just like something Jesse and Dave, right, brought up a lot is your highs are really high, but your lows are really low, right?
Yeah.
And I think if we were able to control those lows, I think things would have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I guess my last 2 questions for you is, given, right, you made it clear to me. Oh, yeah, Jesse said you can definitely make a case for 2020. There you go. But you've made it apparent to me, right? We've had a lot of conversations about where we want to take volleyball, and you've made it very apparent that you want to play overseas and you want to play for the national team, right?
Definitely.
So we know those are 2 goals, right? But is there any other goals that you have that are volleyball related that maybe I don't know or the people at home wouldn't know?
Honestly, like other than those, like I've been thinking maybe after, hopefully a long and successful career, maybe passing on my next generation, maybe being a club coach for a little bit myself, just how that goes. I've toyed around with that idea. Obviously that would be a really long way in the future, but yeah, that seems like it'd be pretty cool because the positive effect that coaches like Jesse and Dave have had on athletes themselves was definitely very beneficial to my development as an individual. So I hope to pass that sort of positive effect on the next generation, if that'd be possible.
For sure. And the last thing I want to do is just given that you started late, right, and you had a lot of success in your volleyball career, what can you say to athletes that are maybe starting the game a little bit later than most people would?
Honestly, what I would say to them is if you want to find success, it is excellence and success isn't like just an action. I think it's a lifestyle. That's how I take it. So, you know, like as I said before, I eat, sleep, and play volleyball. So that means like, you know, the way you take care of your body off the court, not just how you play in practice, not just how you do in games. So, you know, the food you eat, the amount of sleep you get, you know, taking care of your body during recovery, warming up properly, always looking to sharpen your active skills, staying mentally grounded, you know, taking care of your mental health. Like it's a lifestyle, as I said, like, you know, so if you want to find success, if you're starting late, then, you know, you already don't have that fundamental base skill set, like refined as say someone like 13U or 12U.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, you have to sacrifice some things you may want to do if you want to find success in volleyball. And if you really love it, then that sacrifice is definitely worth it.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
That was great. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
For sure. All right.
Yeah. See you, buddy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Next week, Wednesday, we've got Jordan Pereira on.